Many people ask me where my passion for food comes from, so I've just finally found the album from the day I was born. Apparently in this picture I'm 5 days old, with my maternal grandmother here and with my Baba, who was one of the best cooks I can ever think of. And a lot of people, ask, were you taught to cook by your grandmother? That always makes me laugh, because I don't think my grandmother ever knew where the kitchen was in the house. So she had cooks. My mother didn't know how to cook. My father was a great cook, loved food and loved people. Grandparents from both sides used to eat well. But then let's also be objective. At the time, there was not much choice of eating badly, unless really you couldn't cook an egg. Here I'm with my grandfather in a beautiful villa where I spent most of my childhood. And there we used to have a huge vegetable garden. We used to breed our own chickens. And the chickens were really fed with the leftovers of our lunches and dinner. So of course the chickens taste very different than today, when they're fed with, more or less, I wouldn't say chemicals, but certainly ingredients which are not as good. And you can taste it, you can taste the difference. And I'm very nostalgic of those old flavors. Here I'm obviously a little bit older with my grandfather. He was a big gourmet. He loved food, and I still remember him taking me to Padua, drive half an hour to go and come back, just to bring me and to have a good ice cream. There are nowadays very few places who still do homemade ice cream, particularly in big touristy cities like Venice. Most of it is industrial, and the buckets of ice cream get delivered in the morning. But you do taste the difference once you find somebody who makes it homemade. This is a picture where I'm with my grandfather. I'm pointing out at him. I'm talking to the chef of the restaurant. The restaurant was called Il Burchiello. And the reason why my grandfather used to take me there is because they made my very, very favorite cake. I still remember, this pasta sfoglia, which is a puff pastry with an amazing cream and pieces of dark chocolate in there. So he used to take me every Sunday to have lunch there, with the promise that I could have a slice of cake. And of course, every birthday, a cake from Il Burchiello would be there. Unfortunately, he died when I was 5 years old, and the cake is no longer what it used to be. And then the years go past, and my brother has arrived here on the beach here in Venice. My parents on a cruise. Obviously, children were not allowed to go on cruises at that time. Much older already. We used to go every year in Croatia. We used to fish every day. And I remember very well the day we fished, actually, this huge, it was a 5-kilogram fish, but we really struggled to get out of the water. Here is my mother, very proud, with my nanny and her husband, we called Gaga. She was Baba, he was Gaga. He was serving at the table, he was polishing silver. He used to keep in the cellar here in Venice wooden boxes with letters in there that he would keep in the dark, so that the outside leaves of this little radicchio would actually rot, but then the inside, the heart, had an unbelievable flavor. Although I must admit that at that time I really hated salad. I remember also the children parties. We always had nice food, not like today where children are given crisps and industrially produced sausage rolls. We had mini pizzas and the focaccias and the homemade cakes, and the hams. It was amazing. Here's with my father, and my father was definitely a big influence about food in my life, not only because he was an amazing cook, but also because he loved people. He would normally have a minimum of 10 people every day for lunch and for dinner. I do take that from him. Often people ask me, doesn't it bother you to have clients who come to your house? No, I think a house is made, for people and to share good things with them. Here in the mountains, with a huge porcino, look how proud we are of our catch. We probably went for a walk in the forest. Come home, make beautiful risottos with mushrooms or tagliatelle, or cook them to freeze them for the winter. It was amazing. The wild mushrooms nowadays, when you buy them in the markets, don't taste the same. It's so much better if you go and pick them up by yourself. Nowadays, people seem to expect to find any product, any ingredient at any season, and that's why also vegetables don't taste that good. It's a fast and artificial maturation, ripening, and obviously, the vegetables, they're full of water, they don't taste the same. Look at this. Look at my little brother, with a spider crab on a leaf. The thing I'm most sad when I go through this is that I still have the memory of those amazing flavors, and it is so difficult in today's market to find them again, and to recreate those flavors, because the prime ingredients are simply not farmed the same way. And I find that very sad, and looking at this album I think, we used to eat so well and things tasted so much better. Voila!